And now we're this culture where like we go out and get fresh meat every day. Like my mom used to take out whatever it was that we were going to have on Wednesday and let it thaw out in the fridge. Like
Right.
she did a meal plan for a
Mhm.
week. But now I feel like if I can have chicken on Friday, I'm not going to buy it on Monday. I'd rather buy chicken on, Thursday or Friday so that it's like nice and fresh.
Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. You're tuning into us. Thank you so much for the day after Christmas. Hopefully, you had the best day, week, month ever, and it's still continuing to go with just fun and festivities and just another exciting day. I mean, hey, my friends in the Canadian North and a lot of Europe celebrates today as Boxing Day. For those people that don't know Boxing Day, little history on Boxing Day. For all of the very elite and aristocrats in the world at the time, they celebrated Christmas, but the people that worked had to work on Christmas Day. So they gave the people who didn't have Christmas off because they were working Boxing Day off. And it was the time to not only be with your family, but for a lot of people, take back what they were given or be given things from other people, the aristocrats, that they didn't need. And they would rebox it and give it to one another for Christmas because they were in a different financial echelon. So to me, Boxing Day is a really great remembrance that not everybody gets Christmas Day off. And today can be another holiday for us to celebrate and be together. And the way that the week lines up, I think the kids have a ton of time off. I mean, they're off for like almost another week up into leading to our New Year's Eve, which are you ready for your resolutions?
I might love New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is so much fun because we'll be in
Thank
Vermont.
God our resolutions happen after New Year's
Oh
Eve
my
is all I can
God,
say.
totally. And that's like for us for New Year's Eve in Vermont, and I'm back. I had to come back and see my girls because I left. They had to come back. So we have a little ski club, and we go to ski club 10, and I DJ.
Perfect that I'm in my pray.
Oh yeah, I love that praise. So it's
thinking about
so it's fun. We have like little party in our at our ski club. DJ Dizzy D comes out. We watch the fireworks right underneath the mountain. So it's fun. It's like everyone's together and you gorge. It's like your last meal before you're like, well, my New Year's resolution is that. So it's fun because that's when you start talking. You ask your friends, like, so what are you going to do for New Year's? What are you not going to do for New Year's?
I mean, I think I want to do everything for New Year's because then my New Year's resolution is going to kick in. So I'll do anything and everything that comes my way, maybe, or maybe not.
No, but
Well, and I feel like it's a big one this year because 2025, I mean, that just feels like a big, serious year. So I feel like it's a big, and I know it's a big year for a lot of people in my life. I have a lot of 50th birthday parties in this year. I have a lot of 60th birthday parties in this year.
Same.
And I feel like it's just a heavy weighted year, which hopefully will give people some pause to come up with some really great New Year's resolutions that they'll stay with.
Well, I'm going to give up meat. I'm going to give up alcohol. I'm going to go to the gym. You're just like,
don't bite off more than you can chew.
Let me just try to inspire us again. We're all like dreading it, right? Let me inspire us. Making goals keeps things interesting and it's very beneficial mentally. It elevates your game if you are like motivated and challenging yourself. So it's embracing a new mindset and it's a promise to do something different. And that doesn't have to mean, eliminating things that you love, right? It can be different ways of looking at it. And I found some unique options if you wanted to not just, lose weight, try to like be healthier, try to sleep more, whatever.
Come up with something new and original.
How about this? How about this for your New Year's resolution? Learn a new skill, meditate more, travel more, save more money, do the career change that you've been talking about, create a 5-year plan so that you can see where you are 5 years from now. Pledge 1% of your time towards a charitable cause. It could be your time or money. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, okay, I'm going to stop a really bad habit like smoking or swearing or like, I'm going to do a digital detox.
Yeah, but so many times. I was just with my trainer and Zach, and I'm talking. He's like, so what's your New Year's resolution? I was like, funny you say that because today we're talking about it. And so we were talking and he says, well, I'm going to have a dry January and it's going to be really hard for me. I don't know if I can do it. And I said, well, what are you going to do instead? It's like, cause you have to, if you're used to having a couple glasses of wine at night, like what else you're going to do? Well, he has a little baby, so I'm going to find something to do. But I mean,
Replacement.
Yes,
but that's what
exactly.
you need to do. And I thought it was great.
Maybe it'll be California sober. I know a lot of people that are like, patting themselves on the back in the month of January, and they're like, "Yeah, I haven't drank all month. It's amazing."
Meanwhile, California,
Nina,
I couldn't even operate
Hello.
machinery on
I
California.
stand
So
California sober, by the way.
it's just people that really like,
No,
weed, right?
I
And
know what. No,
function on it.
so I'm living in Florida,
Or
and
gummies. Or
my cousin Bobby's like, I got this great guy to introduce you to. All right. Meanwhile, I'm in the boat business. I drive like a 2,500 extended cab pickup truck with roll down windows because I tow boats, and I'm in Palm Beach. Okay.
fancy schmancy.
So I'm
thing.
driving around in this giant pickup truck in Palm Beach with like curlers, and I jump out and I meet this guy, and he's like, yeah, well, I'd met him in rehab. I'm like, oh, great. And so we go out to dinner, and he's like, so do you want some weed? You want to E-tab? And I'm like, looking at him, weren't you just in rehab with someone I know? And he's like, oh yeah, but I'm California sober. I'm like, so not going to work out for us. And as he
I don't really
watched me jump out of my truck.
I mean, if you're altered on some level, I do believe that that's still a vice.
Listen,
a
you want to make your resolution. I'm not going to judge. If California sober gets you closer to, like, if you put down the alcohol, hey, good for you. I think my problem is that like each to what you're saying, it's like it's just exchanging one vice for the other.
And still driving around in cars and like,
Well, hopefully not, because there's Uber. Let's do that. Let's do
California sober to go to work. I mean, like,
yes.
Well, now,
option on it.
yeah, but now it's legal. So, hey, I can't sleep. I'm going to go to the dispensary. Oh, I have a stomachache. I'm going to go to the dispensary. I don't feel good.
What happens if you get pulled over by a cop and you're California sober and you get pulled over?
You can get arrested.
It's driving under the influence.
Yeah,
how can they prove it? Like,
It's harder. That's part of the problem. That was part of the problem when they legalized it, and that was a lot of the pushback that they did get. Was like, yeah, we're gonna know where the drugs come from, and hopefully it's gonna help, like, not have things be laced with other terrible things. But the fact that we don't have an on the spot way to test you for being under the
if I took a
influence.
supersonic gummy and I'm on the road right now and it's kicking in, I am a menace to everybody in the world.
but you're fun as can be.
Oh my God. But they pull me over, and what are they? What are they going to make me walk a line? I can walk a line.
I think they can look at your eyes like get dilated.
How do they prove?
I don't think they have to. I think that's the part about being a police officer, at least
you
in the
say
state of New Jersey.
My eyes are
I
dilated.
think all they have to do is suspect it, and they can arrest you, because you get arrested for DWI.
Well, then you go
and then
take you in, you get a blood test,
Yeah.
you get a urine test.
Is
and
that
then-
what they do?
yeah,
Yeah.
like I mean,
You down to the station, and then they actually
Yeah.
but so the PSA on that is, regardless of what you decide to do, if you decide not to be sober at all, please take an Uber.
I mean, Ubers, gosh, they would have made our lives so much easier as young people. I mean, back in the day, which we say a lot, but there's no better way to say it. I mean, whoa.
Yeah.
You were just driving.
You just
and
drive.
praying.
Well,
I know it's terrifying.
no, but I mean, I was in college and I was a great driver. Like, I'm a really good driver.
You're a really good driver.
I'm a really good.
Were you a really good driver?
I was a really good driver.
Oh.
And no, because I wanted to race cars, because my dad was a race car driver, and we were driving to Vermont, and Dad, I want to race cars. He was like, you got to learn to drive. And it was always his thing. And then, unfortunately I didn't get to race cars. I almost did. I was going to race rally cars and do the Baja. And then I broke my neck, but that's another story. So, when we go to bars downtown in college, we literally would play pole position, and whoever got the high score would drive home. And if you
Like
almost
the actual video game pole position.
video game, yes,
Oh, I know it.
but you bought shots. Like there was a whole thing. Like, you really didn't want to win, but you wanted to win, because then you had to buy shots if you didn't, and it was a mess. But
I just lived so far away,
now I
in
wouldn't
high
even think
school,
about it.
especially in college when I'd come home from college breaks. I mean, there were no taxis like where I grew up. And
There's no taxis.
And I lived far away.
Unless you're in
I lived
Manhattan.
Sarasota. And I would go out in Sarasota, but I lived, like the furthest away, and all my fun friends were doing really fun things. How else was I getting home? It's not like today where parents,
Well, it is why Uber is $1 billion industry.
mean,
Let's be honest.
seriously,
They fill this
billion.
giant void in the
They're
market.
so
space.
shady, though.
I wonder what the DUI statistic has, like how tremendously it's gone down
I don't know.
since Uber and
check
Lyft,
that.
because to me, that would be a fascinating. I'm so thankful for it with my kids,
Yeah.
even though I'm scared of it at the same
I'm
time.
scared of the creepers.
Just because, like, but they can share locations. They've got to be really smart about things. That's like a totally different podcast, because being the
we
mother
can
of
do
3
that.
girls and, having them, someone's the last to get dropped off. You just they have to be mindful. They have to not be on their phones, and they have to share their location. And, there's a whole system to it.
Yeah.
All right.
But-
So no California sober for this crew. We all Uber for the new year. That's a good.
we are really fun.
That's a good thing. No, but we're fun, but we're responsible. We
Yeah.
are moms, and we do have a podcast.
And we
good
have to
purpose.
practice what we preach. So if we're out, like, being lunatics and doing things that our children, our kids see everything. They hear everything. They smell everything. I mean, they are us.
Totally. Yep. Well, I said
So-
my 2 biggest fears were getting eaten by a shark and getting a DUI. At least one you can kind of manage both of them.
Well, and here's the other thing is that when we were out the other day, it may not even be. You may have, like, let's just say 2 cocktails, and from a blood alcohol standpoint, you're technically fine to drive, but you're not on your AA game. Well, what happens if you get hit by somebody?
Right.
What happens if somebody else does something that isn't expected and you get in an accident? It's not your fault. Really has nothing to do with it. But
Now you're exposed.
Now,
Yeah.
kind of screwed, because they're like, well, she was drinking. She's just under the legal limit. And like, who needs that?
But if it's not your fault, okay, and they can't really tell that you have been drinking, are they
They-
able to?
they
take
can.
your-
They can.
You're-
You'll be able to smell it, or you just don't.
I mean-
I don't drink and drive. It's
No.
like my fear.
Neither do we.
I hate it, but you just have to be careful, because anything can happen when you're just you're not as sharp. So
Okay,
for
so
those
that's not a New Year's resolution for us. But
Oh,
what's a New Year's resolution for you, Dia? Let me get
but
more
for
fresh.
some people that was no, but for some, yeah.
Let me just preface this, guys. Failure to keep is as much of a tradition as setting or coming up with a New Year's resolution. And that made me sad when I read that. The failure to keep your promise or the commitment to what it is that you're doing is as big as of a thing as it is coming up with what you're going to do. So I read that only 19% keep some if they have more than one. And only 7% keeps the one thing or them all for the entire duration. And most are forgotten already by February.
Well, that's like when you go get it. You go buy an exercise.
14th, like Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Well, you go buy an exercise bike or one of those machines that you bring in your house. You use it for like a day, and then it just sits there. It's dusty.
Oh my God.
Kind of
listen,
like
being in the industry that I've been in, being in the fitness industry, we laugh about like the New Year's blip. Like, it's kind of annoying for somebody who's at the gym all the time. And then January 2nd, usually, and sometimes January 1st, depending upon your gyms, they'll be open. But all of a sudden you have this mass of people and you're like, never saw that person in my life. Never saw it. No. And you're like, it's okay. It'll be gone in about 3 weeks.
the influx.
That's so true.
And they listen to the studios and the gym owners, benefit. It's a good bump in their business. And a lot of people forget that. Here's your New Year's resolution. If you do decide to do a gym membership, here's a little word of the wise. I would say, join for the month.
I was gonna say month to month is the way to go.
And if you're still there at the end of January, then re-up your thing, because so many people join and they sign away a contract for the year and then you never see them again. So it's a 1-monther that you paid 12 months for.
That's usually me. I join the Atlanta Cup every year, and I go maybe like 3 or 4 times. And I'm living in Vermont. I'm like, oh man, that $150 every month. But
You know what I think people should do more, because we talk about this all the time too, is cook more at home. Make that your New Year's resolution. Every time you go anywhere, it's just prepared food out the wazoo. And it grosses me out. I'm like, no one is making their own meals anymore. You don't know what ingredients go into all of this prepared
Laziness.
food. And if you're worried about losing weight, or I don't know, spending more time with your family, how about you cook a meal, you share a meal, and you have it at your house? And it's like wasteful to go out, and it's indulgent to constantly be going out to dinner every single night or bringing home.
Well, I'm very busy, Farley. You don't know how busy I am that I can.
You cook a
well,
and
Yeah.
Bill said today that you used to bake as the kid in the family, that you used to bake all the time. Because I was laughing. I said I baked not cupcakes, but banana muffins for you guys this morning. I said, I feel like I always want to have like something good for D because she's either psyched that I have a leftover in the fridge that I can heat up for her or like a baked good. And he's like, well, that's funny because Darian used to be the baker in the family. And I'm like, are you talking about Michaela or Darian? And he was like, no.
No, I'm a really good cook and a really good baker.
And I was your roommate and we used to cook a lot and you
Yeah.
did used to cook. But how is it suddenly when you're a wife and the mother, you're no longer cooking and you have skills?
I know, you know what it is? We get so busy and it's bad. And it's something, if the food is there and then I can come up with anything, but it's the preparedness. Cause all of a sudden we're doing something. You're at the beach, you're surfing, you're back home and you're like, oh my God, it's 6
I gotta
o'clock.
go to the grocery
And
store.
and that's the one thing. It's like, you have to prepare, you have to figure out. And my mom says, just go. And every day you have your meals. Like Monday, I'm going to do steak. Tuesday, I'm going to do chicken, and kind of schedule out the week. You go, you buy the food. So it's there. And if the food's there, I'll cook. But it's all of a sudden we're skiing and then Dee Dee has training and then I'm doing this. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's so late.
And now we're this culture where like we go out and get fresh meat every day. Like my mom used to take out whatever it was that we were going to have on Wednesday and let it thaw out in the fridge. You know,
Right.
She did a meal plan for a
Mhm.
week. But now I feel like if I can have chicken on Friday, I'm not going to buy it on Monday. I'd rather buy chicken on, Thursday or Friday so that it's like nice and fresh.
Yeah.
It was a story.
But it's
Jeff's
just like
like,
generation.
oh, you pulled the old frozen chicken cutlets out and put them in the sink to defrost for the dinner, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And it comes, he's like, ready to go out? I'm like, oh yeah, they didn't defrost.
That didn't work.
No, but I've been good. I did take pork chops out today.
Yeah.
And I've been cooking a lot more. And it's great because now I'm getting into a cooking mode and
I
Dee
said
Dee
to
loves
Pat,
it.
I go, I bet you Darian baked because she worshipped the brothers. So if she was
All the
making the
time.
brownies and the cakes and the things that everybody loved, he's like, I almost think that she used to make cheesecakes and she would like make a batch of them and freeze some.
Yeah.
That's it.
And pumpkin cheesecakes, and I loved cooking and I love baking.
Cool.
Well, because I took care, I was like my mom's little helper.
Yes,
So I
you are.
always helped her. I'd fold laundry. That's why I'm very domesticated.
So do you want that to be a New Year's resolution for you that you're going to bake more like you used to? Or are you like, no, I'm good. Like that bonus, that ship has sails.
We've already made a resolution to try to be healthier and lose weight and
No, I
not have sugar. And
well, I in talking to my
Right.
trainer today, because I said, you know what, I'm going full throttle until ski season. So I've been working with a trainer, which I've never done before, and it's been great. It's like I'm getting
that was
so
on the
strong.
list, is getting a trainer, getting a life coach.
Get
So
a trainer. Like it is, he whoops up on me, and you go in and it's hardcore for 1 hour, and like I can't even walk. And I've been doing PT and kind of mixes in well because I'm just banged up always. But he said, and when we were talking about our New Year's resolutions, I said, I am going to keep going to the gym. He said, you have to keep lifting because first of all, we're old and I need to keep my muscles strong and keep your bones strong. And it just kind of kickstarting.
It's so true.
It's
Watching what
kickstarting.
like my parents have gone through because they weren't in that go to the gym generation and they weren't like going and lifting and keeping everything, oiled and revved up. And it comes back to haunt your house later in life. You gotta, use it or you lose it. And to not lose it, you've got to continue to like build muscle. Or I feel like every time I step out on the paddle court, because I'm so busted from having injuries, I tweak something all the time. And I haven't had a lot of time to like go to the gym and like really work on me because I'm kind of like working on everybody else around me right now.
So this is my
I
advice,
see mine.
but this is some good advice. Always do as I say, not as I do. The hardest part about working out and coming up with a regimen for everybody who wants to say, hey, I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to start exercising. Don't say I'm going to go 5 days a week. The hardest part about working out is
Just
those
getting there.
first like 2 weeks when you actually go and you do that sport, you do that activity and you get there because you're like, oh, I'm tired. I could go do this. I'm going to go work. I'm going to go clean my house. You have to make it a priority because after you go a few times, then all of a sudden your body's is just craving the endorphins. It's craving.
true.
You've created habit.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you don't want to miss it. Like I don't want to miss those days of working out. He went, my trainer went away and I was like, you have someone I could work with because consistency and your body
Totally
and your
right.
body feels it. So just know like, hey, set attainable goals when you are making New Year's resolutions. Like,
Great.
okay, you know
advice.
what? First, I'm going to make sure I'm going to go to the gym twice a day. Or my New Year's resolution that I've said for 25 years is this year I'm going to do yoga. I know I'm never going to do it, so I wipe that out of my wheelhouse. But if it's something that you're like, I'm going to do yoga,
My body
try to
likes
go
me when
one.
I do yoga.
Yeah, but go once a week, something that is attainable. And then you go twice, and then you're like, I can't, I need to go. And then everything else of your day is just,
I wish
kind
we
of
didn't
well
get out of
together.
shape so quickly. It takes us so long to get in really good shape and in yoga shape. Like for me, when I'm doing my yoga and I'm religious about it, and I've been in like a very good stage of being religious, and then I hurt something and then I can't do it. But when I do it, I feel so good. My body likes me. And, it's like I look forward to it. So I absolutely understand that. But if I don't do yoga for 2 weeks, all of a sudden I'm tight again. And it's crazy. I just wish that you work out, you get yourself somewhere really hard. I wish it took you just as long to get out of shape. as
Takes
it
3
took
days
you
to get out of
in.
shape,
I know,
lose
it's not
muscle.
fair.
3.
Not fair.
Well, it's also because I feel like, one habit makes another bad habit. It's like what they say. It's like when you're working out well and you're treating your body well with physical activity, then you eat better. And then when you're working out and you're eating better, then you sleep better. So it's all like a cycle that's all connected. And everybody tries to take the magic pill, the immediate gratification society that we live in. And one of the things to what Darian was saying that I'll say for our listening audience, if you haven't heard this in acronym before, SMART. Make your goals specific, measurable, actionable, realistic with a time frame. And if you think about that, like she said, you need to eat, be working out 2 days a week. I need to be consistent with it. And like you have to have like some metrics to it that will allow you to succeed. And the other piece that I'll say is that to Darian's point, if you hate yoga, don't force yourself to do yoga. Like I want you to do yoga. Farley likes yoga.
Sorry,
Obviously,
Jen.
I love it. And no, it's not
Obviously,
offensive.
I never took
But
your
to
class.
me, it's find something that is going to like you're enjoying, right? If you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I have to go train with this person and I know he's great and everybody loves him or her, whatever, but like, it's not my happy place. Like it doesn't fill me up. Like I don't feel, I know it's good for me. Like there's somebody else. There's another studio. There's another person. There is somebody out there that is going to motivate and inspire you because they want you to get to your goals. So find that person in this new year. Find a wingman. If you don't hoof it to the gym by yourself all the time. If you feel like you're eating poorly, have somebody that's going to keep you accountable. Did you make dinner tonight or did you DoorDash again? Those kind of things, I think, and I kind of said it tongue in cheek before also, like, don't bite off more than you can chew. Like if you haven't been to the gym in, 6 months,
Right.
you're eating like crap right now.
Portion
like
control too.
add a vegetable into your diet every meal. Like right there, like you'll be healthier in 2 weeks without going to the gym. And then
Totally.
maybe you feel like going to the gym in 2 weeks because you did it. It doesn't have to be a mad dash in January. January is not the end all be all. You got to keep going after that. And make sure the gym doesn't keep your mouth.
And a lot of people
So
do.
what is your
Yeah, what is your resolution?
Well, my resolution for those of you that don't know, like my day to day has been, I've taken a 3-month hiatus out of the gym because I can't remember a month in my life since college that I have not been in a gym, belonged in a gym, or worked in a gym. And I got to a point of burnout, and I have done everything outside for this
That's
fall.
my favorite kind of workout.
I was
outside.
running
Playing
with my
sports.
dog and
Yep.
playing sports and doing all that stuff because I wanted to be outside and it was beautiful here. But I need to come back to my own yoga practice because I've been teaching so long. So my New Year's resolution will be more about doing things for Jennifer Berenius, and
Love it.
my yoga is no longer teaching for everybody else and giving my energy to everybody else. I'm going to take this month and time, and then what ends up happening is I end up missing it and I end up teaching.
Are we going
something.
back to the fort?
I don't
I
know.
don't really know if I can do
I don't
that.
know.
I enjoy recreational activity to get my workout. And I
Absolutely.
love to go on hikes. I love to walk. I love to play tennis and paddle and hopefully padel soon. But that doesn't get us in shape. It does and it doesn't. I mean, you look at like a paddle person's body, it's not like there's not a specific paddle body or a tennis body. You can kind of be anybody.
Well,
Pickleball.
tennis body, there's more of a tennis body than there's a paddle body. The
Right.
reality in paddle is you don't really have to move to be good. It's like pickle. Like the court's so small, you don't have to cover anything. You know,
Like, we're
unless
not getting our
tennis,
fitness
you're not
match.
moving around.
But that's even what my trainer is like. Obviously, you're doing something. I said, well, I love playing tennis, surfing, paddling, riding a bike,
Action,
skateboarding,
activity.
anything. He goes, you still have to lift. He said, right now you have to lift. So I kind of was like, all right, I'll do it. And then now I'm like, when I went skiing in at Copper, I was skiing so strong. I'm like, wow, I really haven't felt this strong in a long time, because you do the gym forever and for your sport
And your
have
knee
to
felt
do it.
great?
My knee felt great.
It's awesome. Well,
I
you
w-
have worked hard.
And I was skiing bumps because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hit the bumps really hard and like low, so it just keeps breaking up any scar tissue in there. I was like, oh, I hope it doesn't blow up my back. But
And he was right. He said to you, like, if we do it now, you're going to be surfing, you're going to be skiing, like, and you feel like you're back.
I'm back.
That's
I'm
awesome.
psyched. I'm psyched to skin this year because I say that every year, and that's I'm ready. I can't wait. So
I feel like my New Year's resolution is very similar to Jen's. It's like putting Farley Boyle first and trying to do things that I've put off because I always do everything for everybody else around me. And because my kids are gone and I actually have time for Farley Boyle, I need to make myself a priority. And whether that means like getting a trainer or
sorry, pal.
like doing gym, you know, like putting muscle back on. I'm talking about like an expansive direction. Like I want to put Farley Boyle first.
And Girls Gone Gritty.
And Girls Gone Gritty.
Which
Well,
is
this
us.
makes me happy. So
Yes.
this is me doing more of me.
Yes.
I just want to remember who I was again before having kids and before being married. And I've evolved as a human. So I want to see like what my potential is now and what am I going to be able to do. So I think like a 5-year plan excites me because it'll make me concentrate on what my goals are, where I see myself like right this minute and where I want to be in 5 years from now. So that's going to be part of like my, you know, Farley Boyle first and a 5-year plan.
That's your next chapter. And
Yes.
that's huge. And that's something that when you are setting goals for yourself, attainable, realistic, and doing like the 1 month, the 6 month, the 1 year, 5-year plan is huge.
I'm doing
And
it. It's like
it
a
ju-
board, like, you know,
but it makes you feel better.
Vision board.
And
Yep.
for all of us, though, we all want something a goal that we can reach. We want to have, you always want to make yourself
we're
better.
still young enough to do a lot of things. Like, you know, I mean, maybe our bones or our body feels like it's a little bit old, but like if we do all these things that we're talking about,
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
you know, that might be a fun exercise for the 3 girls gone gritty to do. Maybe we do a vision board in the next little bit. Maybe we share our individual vision boards
all right,
with one another.
I'm working on
and
one.
maybe our listening audience, if we feel it's worthwhile of your energy. But
If you don't put it out there, it doesn't become real. So if you create a poster that really has some goals that might seem lofty and some that could be more realistic, you know, you put a whole vision board together that shows you kind of where you want to go and you're making it real because you're thinking about it and you're producing it and then you're sharing it and you're putting it out to the universe. So it's hearing it.
You manifest it. Jeff,
I'm ready.
since I met him, he'll read a newspaper or magazines and he cuts out the pages and he puts them all over and he has his goals
It's
set.
personal a little bit too, you know, if you go deep.
And then you see success when you go, oh, all right, I made it to this mark. Oh, I'll make it to this mark. Like,
well, and
and
it's holding yourself accountable too. It's like I put that there.
Yep.
I put
Right.
that there for myself to see and
And I'm making it real by sharing it with you guys.
Yeah.
Even our Girls Gone Gritty audience.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and you
then-
guys can see if we've actually made some momentum.
What about you, Dave?
I'm going to keep going to the gym when I go to Vermont. And then
You go to the gym in Vermont?
I'm going to go to the gym in Vermont. Yeah, there's a cool gym there. And just get strong and stay strong.
Please look at Lindsey Vaughn. She's freaking in the gym, killing herself before she goes and skis. There could be a big comeback over here.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. I mean, maybe that.
Well, I have a race. There's a race in Maui. It's like an island race on a paddleboard that I've wanted to do.
Oh, that's so.
So you're like, oh, my back hurt, but my back doesn't hurt anymore because I'm like actually movement. You knew,
Yeah.
Jen. It's like it's about movement.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
and speaking about movement, something we haven't spoken to about, Darian is going to be, for those in our listening audience in Monmouth County, she's going to be a special guest for a healthcare symposium based on mental health. It's called Beyond the Game and Ready for Life. And Darian is one of our keynote speakers who will be there on January 8th from 6 to 8. It's free to the community. We want you to come with your kids. We want to talk about these important things about mental resilience, what you do on the field, what you do off the field, what you do in preparation for your day. This New Year's Day lines very much, this New Year's time lines very much up with what we're trying to accomplish with Darian's speech about how she came back and how she continues to reinvent herself and do more with what she's got. And she's going to tell an amazing story along with our prior guest, Val Barnaby, and Teddy Sorlis, who have both been on this show. So for those of you, again, who are in the Monmouth, January 8th, from 6 to 8. It's
Mark
at
your calendars.
Monmouth Regional. And again, it's free to the community. That's what we do with WeForum. And because we want to get this important information out and we want to share these talented human beings with the world so they can share their stories. So that's a great New Year's resolution for you guys to come to that event and bring your kids, bring your teams. We really want the coaches to bring their teams. Because if you have a community, again, back to our New Year's resolution, if you have a community that's going to hold you accountable and be supportive, you're more likely to succeed. So you can go to weforumgroup.org to sign up for that event and get a firsthand experience, meet and greet with Darian, the Darian Boyle.
And the Girls Gone Grady will help
And the
you.
Girls Gone Grady will
Yeah,
be
we'll
there.
all be there.
Yeah.
And, you
I'm
know, if
excited
this,
for the
if this
event.
conversation hasn't made you start kind of percolating and thinking about what you want to do for your New Year's resolution, have a conversation with somebody, talk with your friends about it, you know, make it something that is meaningful instead of just like, you know, I'm going to check the box and do something cliche. Have a conversation and maybe that will excite you or bring a different idea to fruition. And then you'll get pumped about setting a goal for yourself. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
a grit factor. You know, we got to keep grit in our lives. And sometimes you got to put it in front of your own self to make it happen. So yeah, let's do it.
And I heard someone was giving up saying F-bombs. I said, hey, that's a great one.
I mean,
Too bad she's 86 and drives really fast. But
I know who that is.
Bob, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Girls Gone Grady. We love sharing stories. We would love to hear yours. Go onto our website and Instagram and let us know your New Year's resolutions. And let's kick it off 2025. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. And bring it on.
Bring it. Peace out.